Hey everybody, today I'm going to install a wall-hung toilet in my shop here in central Minnesota. If you're interested, stay tuned. All right, so what I've got here is a carrier for a wall-hung toilet in a box. This is made by Geberit. It's their DuoFix Sigma series. This is a very cool WaterSense labeled tank and flush valve system that's gonna hold a toilet on a wall. Takes everything that you see in front of the wall sitting on the floor and puts it back in there and makes everything really clean. What does that mean? Well, we're gonna do an unboxing in a second, but what this is a wall-hung residential toilet system. I've got my waste and vent already roughed in from before when we did the below slab plumbing, and now we're gonna put the carrier in the wall. I think a lot of plumbers, designers, builders they're hesitant to adopt this kind of system. They're very popular all over the rest of the world. Somehow they're not popular yet in North America. I'm hoping that this video kind of clarifies a few things for some plumbers and contractors out there. It's very simple, there's very few pieces, but what we're gonna achieve with a system like this and what my customers have liked so far over the last 5 or so years that I've been installing them is that it takes the tank and puts it in the wall. Now, what does that do for us? A couple things. There's less to look at, right? There's less to clean, less surfaces and edges and cracks and crevices. Once we take that tank, we immediately hide it in the wall. 2, it takes up less space. So now we can put a toilet in a smaller space, which is advantageous for retrofit applications. And then overall, 3, pretty important in the end, if you've got young boys or have ever raised them, this makes things cleaner. By taking the toilet off the floor, putting it on the wall, now we've got the entire floor space underneath, of finished flooring that we can clean very easily. A lot nicer than having to try to clean around the base of a toilet. So let's get into it. Let's start the unboxing right now. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is read the instruction manual, right? And where that's gonna start you off is the elevation in which you're gonna mount this in the wall so you get the proper finished level rim of your toilet bowl. I'll give you some quick tips on how to shorten that process up. The instructions tell you that the height of these mounting rods plus 3 inches is gonna be the finished height of your the top of your bowl, not the seat, but the bowl itself. And you have to take into account the bottom plate and your finished flooring. So I've done the math here. I've set these so that I will have a bowl height of 17 inches. That would be either ADA or comfort height. In order to achieve that, I've got to do some alterations to my plumbing, just some trimming of pipes so everything fits up right. So before we put this in the wall, I want to show you what I've done. I've got this set on top of a 1.5 inch treated plate, just like I have in my wall. So I can set the height of these adjustable feet. There's just some nice hex hardware in here. You tighten it up with a socket wrench, you're all good to go. You can level that up, and then of course you can adjust it once it's in the wall. The reason that's important is I'm taking into account that I've got a 1/4 inch of thickness of finished floor I'm gonna put on this concrete. And then I've got the bottom plate, which the carrier itself sits on. I'm gonna have to trim this waste outlet pipe. I've marked that where I'm gonna trim it. I'm just gonna cut that with a longer blade on my hacksaw. And then I'm going to cut the PVC coming out of the floor. I've also marked that. Then we'll be able to mount this thing in the wall. So let's just do that real quick. So I've marked this all the way around so I can just make sure I get a nice clean cut. You don't glue onto this, you're gonna use a mechanical coupling. Then we'll cut the PVC here next. I've already marked that. I'm gonna get that cut. They do include this shielded coupling. It's a 3-inch plastic to plastic or cast iron to cast iron. So it's gonna fit perfectly on the PVC like that. That's your mechanical connection. And then this will slide into that as well once we've got the carrier in. So let's put that there for now. Gonna get this place cleaned up a little bit, come on. Next step is to set this in place. So my feet are adjusted and tightened down. And the framing, I should note that the framing has been put in ahead of time. We measured off of the specs to put this framing at 19 3/4 inches inside to inside, so centered on my pipe. And I look at my torpedo here on top, and I am level, which should be plumb as well because we've got a welded steel frame here. So we're going to now mark the lag bolt holes and pre-drill just so we're not splitting the studs because the holes are pretty close. We're going to mount this directly flush to the front of the studs, and I just use you can use a marker, pencil, whatever you got. I like these Pika myself. I'm going to flush that up, mark my hole there. We got 2 on each side and then 2 on the bottom, so each of the bottom brackets. You can see that's an oval shape, so it's actually adjustable. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this out of the wall cavity. I'm done marking those. I'll pre-drill the holes just so it makes it easier and it doesn't split the studs. All right, so now I can just place this in the wall. Ultimately, once you get used to this, I've probably got, when I'm not doing this for a video, I've probably got 5-10 minutes into this process so far. That's it. It's very, very simple. My little sister's house, we did 5 of these in there. The first one probably took me 40 minutes to install. And from that point on, 10 minutes a piece. That's pretty fast, really. So I'm just getting these hand tightened, or just started by hand, into the pre-drilled holes that I just made. And then I'll tighten them down with my impact. There, we're good. I love it. Plumb and level. Can't ask for anything better than that. The next step, and probably the most important one, is the connection of the waste pipe. So this bracket here comes loose. It clips onto the frame. I didn't show that. It's really quite self-explanatory. Now I've got my trimmed waistline here. I've got my coupling on the 3-inch PVC. This waste outlet that connects to the back of the toilet sits and cradles in this bracket. There's a top and a bottom to it. This bracket snaps into the frame itself, into the carrier. I didn't show that. It's very simple. It only goes on there one way, so you can't screw this part up. So the most important part is to get the proper elevations here, and so I've trimmed my pipe so everything fits, and I can show you how it goes together. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but once you get it on there, you just got to get it lined up on your bracket just right. And there you go. So now I can align the coupling, get everything tightened up. And loosen this band up a little bit so I can move it to where I want it. Make sure we're all good. I like that. I'm going to take this retainer ring, kind of clip, put it over the top. And it snaps onto both sides. Once you get it in the right position, there you go. That baby ain't going nowhere. Now we'll just tighten it up. You can use a nut driver like this, or you could use like a no hub band torque wrench. Up to you. I've always just done it by hand and then let it sit for a few minutes and then tighten it up one more time. This will be tested with a manometer, so leak tested. So I'll make sure I don't have any leaks before it gets covered up. All right, so these are the lag bolts, same as what we used in the wall. I do need to lag the feet into the base plate there, but they're too long because I've got concrete underneath. So I'm just gonna trim them off real quick. I didn't have any shorter leg bolts on my van, so this will have to do. Okay, so we're almost done with the mounting portion of it. Last thing we've got to do is just a couple steps. They come with these nice plastic tubes that go over the mounting rods to protect the threads, to get them to keep, you know, drywall, mud, thin set, that kind of stuff off of there. You've got two plugs that go, one for the water connection right there. That's the water that goes into the back of the bowl. And then you've got the waste outlet sleeve here. And these are here so that when we finish the wall surface, you've got the proper diameter and locations of the cutouts for the waste, the water, and then the mounting rods. The finished surface and the rough, you know, as the wall is built out, whether that's going to be just wood or tile backer or sheetrock, that's going to go directly onto the studs. Nothing new is needed now. All of this is behind the wall. All right, so what we're gonna do next is just access the tank. So no tools needed. You just push on those two little tabs, pull this plate off, set this aside, don't lose it. And the valve itself comes shipped separately. So there's a little supply hose in here. You're gonna connect to your valve right there, okay. And then here's your 1/2-inch water connection on the back. This has to be slid through from the back side, as such. Then this nut over top of it and tighten it on. Very simple. There you go, there's your water connection. And to finish it off, you can just connect the supply tube. Don't need any tools for this portion of it. That's an on-off valve, like there. That's off. And that's all the further we're gonna go inside the tank today. Just drops on like that, clicks into place. There we go, that little pop-out comes off. And now, this is your mud guard trim ring for the rough, you know, for the build out of the wall. This is really simple. That's it. Everything is ready to go. This will stay in place while the wall is built out. Those plastic sleeves will stay in place while everything is built out. We're basically done. We would just have to make the water connection now. That's a sturdy, well-engineered, easy to install system. That's why I chose the Geberit system. I can mount now any residential wall mount bowl to this. I've got many choices to choose from. Toto, Kohler, Duravit, and others, right? So I'll get to building this out. I've got to finish my roughing, of course, but I just wanted to share with you how simple it is to install a carrier like this. This is a 2x6 wall. They also make them in 2x4, so you're gonna just get a little bit wider and not as deep. Check out Geberit's website. Check out the other manufacturers. If you're interested at all in these systems, I highly encourage you to check out the installation instructions, watch a couple videos. Hopefully this helped you. If it did, please check me out over on Instagram @Mechanical Hub. You can also check out my podcast, Make Trades Great Again. We stream on every service. So thanks a lot for watching and enjoy your day.